Good morning. The time now is 4:50 a.m. and I'm about to share with you what's going on. Today might be my most exciting adventure to date. More than the pyramids, more than Iceland, more than Tokyo. Today, we go to the most remote inhabited island on the planet. We're going to Easter Island.
And today's video is sponsored by Just Fly, but more on that later.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to Santiago International Airport. Flight today is 5 hours into the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But this has been a bucket list destination for me for a very long time. It was either this or Machu Picchu, and we're going to Easter Island. So let's check in, get boarding pass, everything settled, and let's get to this flight. All right, well, we've made it through security. It was a bit strange and difficult because Rapa Nui is such a different part of Chile that they push you to a whole different side. You have to find different parts of the airport. But one thing I didn't tell you guys is we got upgraded last night. So we're flying business there. So we're gonna go check out the business class lounge now. And I'm excited, I've never been upgraded before. Well, let me explain to you what the last 35 minutes of my life have been. Problem is, I read online for Easter Island, you need to have cash, super important. So for me, I was like, okay, you know what? I'll take cash out at the airport. It turns out that I am missing both of my debit cards. So that is where we're at right now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a foggy, misty day here. Almost everything has gone wrong, from losing my debit cards to the business class debacle. But you know what? We've made it through. We're on to Easter Island. Spirits are gonna be back high once we're in the airplane. And like I said, I haven't been this excited since Egypt, since Tokyo, since my first steps in Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome onto the flight to Easter Island. So like I said, we got randomly upgraded to business, which is super cool because it is a 5.5 hour flight, which is definitely a bit longer than flights that I've been doing recently. Traveling around Argentina, maximum spent 1 to 2 hours, and the flight over here was only 2 hours. So 5.5 hours to be spent somewhere like here. I'm not gonna complain at all. Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 hours on the plane, you can see we are stopped now. We look outside, we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We were at Rapa Nui. We have made it to Easter Island. Honestly, this is definitely somewhere on my bucket list that I didn't think I would ever get to, more or less by the age of 24. But we should have somebody waiting for us at the airport, so hopefully we can find them pretty easy. Gracias, chao. Ladies and gentlemen, check out how beautiful this surrounding is. Holy. Wow, it just puts a smile on your face, huh? All right. Ah. Hey, mate. That's me. Yeah. Yeah, how are you? Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much. No worries, man.
You only speak English?
A bit of Spanish. I studied for a few months.
¿Entiendes un poco?
Sí.
Sí. Oye, porque mi inglés no muy bueno.
It's okay. All right. Well, we made it. We got picked up by Corey. Corey, say hello. Hola.
Hola. Llorana.
Oh man, I'm so excited to be here. Well, good morning from the lovely Easter Island, and you may be wondering why it is now morning here when I got here yesterday. Well, this island is highly regulated, so I had to do a lot of administrative things yesterday, so I decided to just start here for day 2. And to show you guys, this is the island of Rapa Nui, or Easter Island. And one of the reasons it's called Easter Island is because one of the colonial discoverers of the island saw the island first on Easter. As you can see on the map, there are a ton of different locations that we need to go discover. However, this island has changed a lot since COVID. Almost every single thing on the island requires a guide, and you can't just get the guide at one of the locations. You have to do a full-blown tour. I know, super frustrating. On top of that, you need to make a national park pass purchase, which I did yesterday. And today we're gonna rent a car, drive around the island to the only 6 locations you can go to without a guide. With that being said, let me show you where I'm staying. So starting off outside, you can see that we're surrounded by some beautiful greenery here, some blue skies. Why? Because we're in an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Now it's a bit of the off season here, so prices are generally lower for hotels and such, but I decided to stay at a hostel like usual. Now this was the #1 rated hostel on the island, and it comes in at $35 per night. And what's also included in that $35 per night is the owner of the hostel himself picks you up from the airport and brings you here. So as you can see, this is the downstairs living room with a few couches as well as a pretty big TV. And the biggest thing is there's Wi-Fi, which while doing my research about the island is having Wi-Fi is pretty big here. And as we move through the hostel, you can see we come into this area where it's like a dining area as well as a kitchen back there for everyone to use, which again is a pretty big commodity because food here is very expensive. What's also really nice is when you check into the hostel, you get all the guides on what the tours are, what the normal prices are, because if you book online for something like this, the prices are actually close to double what they are regularly here. But now let's head upstairs. So as we walk upstairs, we can see that there's another kind of hangout area with a couple of couches, and there's a really beautiful balcony here, which I was showing you earlier when we were talking about what's going on today. And what's really nice is since it is a slower part of the season, there's almost nobody here. So I booked a dorm room, which I usually do, meaning that I'm sharing with a bunch of strangers, but since there's almost no one here, it's completely free to myself. So as we walk into the room, you can see that it's pretty normal to what a hostel room would look like. We have 4 dorm beds here, but again, like I mentioned, it's just me. So you can see you get everything from your bed to a pillow, as well as outlets, which are European conversion. But essentially, since basically no one else is here, instead of $35 for a shared room, it's $35 for a private room. But with that being said, I think it's time to start the road trip. All right, so we've made it through the island. We've gone to the rental car place. We've actually rented this car right here to take us around the island. Surprisingly, the island is super small and we can literally get to the other side in less than 30 minutes drive. So let's get started. And you're probably wondering how much this costs. Well, it came out to $50,000 in the local currency, which is roughly $62, but it's being split by me and another person from the hostel, so only $30 for the day. So we're about to set off on the adventure, but the first thing you have to do every time you get a rental car is make sure you take pictures of everything. Now, just because people are honest and might not try to scam you, you need to protect yourself, so always take pictures of damages, the interior, how much gas is in, just to protect yourself.
What these guys do, which is burgers for a long time.
So we're about 10 minutes into the road trip, which is about 30% into the road trip, which is crazy. And you can just see it is absolute sunshine, beautiful greenery, and it's just giving full Pacific Island feeling. I mean, we're not on the coastline where you'd really feel it, but inside the island, it's just feeling like you're in the Pacific. It reminds me a lot of when I was in Southeast Asia. All right, so we've stopped the car now. We've got to our first site, which is Pu'oriro, or O'Iro. I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but that's the best I could. Now, for the 6 free sites today, they're not the best sites on the island. It's literally the things you can go without a guide. And from what we see out the window, it does not look promising. Brother, say it ain't true. say it ain't true, man. Oh no, this is... They tell you, Easter Island, one of the craziest places in the world. What is that? It's not a boulder, it's a rock. All right, well that one was a bit of a disappointment, so we're gonna go to the next one here, which looks like a beach, I'm pretty sure. All right, so we've made it to the second one. Second free ritual site, maybe statue situation. There is a plaque on this one, so hopefully it's a little more exciting than the rock. You won't believe this. We were so excited to learn something. Oh my, no, it used to have words. There's the faintest letter, you see?
Yeah.
Like
the spot.
Now, everything on this island dates back to all the way to 1100, the year 1100. So the age range of the statues and the carvings here are quite extraordinary. But also, what I want you to get a grasp of is how there's absolutely no one here. Like, we're the only 2 people here right now. So we just made it to Anakena, and this is actually one of the only free sites where you can actually see some of the moai. And the moai are the statues that everyone comes here to see. So hopefully we can get in here with no issues. I'm really excited. This would be my first one that I've ever seen. Man, this is probably the best one we stopped at so far, no?
Oh.
You guys can just see, like, it's absolutely stunning here. The palm trees are swaying, the beach is right there, the water, but the moai is right there. So from what I can see right now, it looks like there's about 6 of them over on one statue and then one massive one up closer to the mountaintop. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we did it. I think we are standing in front of 7 moai. Now these moai are 6 meters tall, or about 18 feet, and they're all facing inwards towards the island because they are believed that they can protect the community. And they're all distinctly different because they are depicting different chiefs that were in the community that were believed to have supernatural powers. This just feels like a special place. I mean, look at this. It's just a Pacific island in the middle of nowhere that people have called home. Well, I made an executive decision to jump into the water, even though I absolutely hate the water. I have no idea if the camera is waterproof. Not a clue, but I mean, you're trying to tell me I shouldn't go in this? There's no way. I hate cold water. If it's cold, I'm in trouble. Oh, it's cold. Oh, it's freezing. Oh, it's freezing cold. Freezing cold water. I have one pet peeve in life. It is freezing cold water. Oh.
Oh, the fucking wind.
You can tilt it up a little. No, you gotta.
Is it already filming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Dude, why the fuck do people do this? I fucking hate that. Oh. Give me the camera. Fuck. Oh, man. That is the only time you will ever see me on this channel go in the water. So we were just driving along here, and well, we can see over that. What is that one called? Do you remember?
Oh, I
Don't remember. But it's the moai. And the moai, like the most famous moai. And you can see the waves here are crazy.
That one's Abu Tongariki.
What is it?
Abu Tongariki.
Abu Tongariki. Wow, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Fuck. Man, so we don't know if we're supposed to be on this road, but there was no sign.
Yeah.
That's always the tourist excuse, right? There's no sign.
Yeah.
Look at them. You can just see them from off in the side. So we're sitting in the car here, and basically this is one of the ones that you have to have a guide for, and a lot of the ones on the island you do have to have a guide for as well. But if we keep going around on this road, you basically can see a bunch of them from the roadway. Now, honestly, I'm gonna make a huge recommendation. If you're coming here for just basic tourism, don't have to do any sort of work or films or anything, I don't even think getting a guide is worth it, because you can see it. Do you agree?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You
Right
can,
there.
it's literally right here on the road. The only difference is you get to walk up. You don't even get to walk that close to it.
Mm-hmm.
You're with it, there's a 30 feet gap, I'd say. Yeah. But, you know, there's one more main one on this island. Maybe it's a little bit different. So we've gotten ourselves a bit lost. I think I need to ask a local for direction. Excuse me, do you know where the big head is? That way? It's kind of rude. Well, we just pulled off to the side of the road because we noticed something interesting. Here is one of the massive, and just to give you a comparison of how large this is, here's my foot, and yeah, huge. But this one seems like it's fallen down, you know? Couldn't tell you how it fell down, but dum went trip. It's just lying here. Good morning from a very windy day 2 here on Rapa Nui. Today, we are joined with a group, we have a guide, and we are going to be exploring the sites that we couldn't see yesterday, the most famous sites here on Easter Island. So yesterday while we were exploring, we were seeing a bunch of these ahu that were knocked down, and ahu is basically the platform. We were seeing a bunch of the moais that were knocked over. Apparently, when there was warring tribes here, that was the greatest challenge for the tribe, was to come and destroy their moai. You can even see here, there's a moai where its face is here, and once the eye socket is made, that's when the moai actually gets life and it gets importance. Without the eye socket, then it's just a stone. And the most important thing is when they made the eye socket, they would put obsidian into the eye socket, basically to give it representing life of who that was supposed to be. When the warring tribes would come in and they would knock down the moai, they would steal the obsidian, they would hide the obsidian, and they would even throw the obsidian into the ocean. What we're heading into now is Ranu Raku, which is basically one of the most famous parts of this island. This is exactly where all of the moai are created, and that's because up on there is the rock that they're all made out of. This quarry is basically full of that exact rock. Now yesterday when we were trying to get through here, it's impossible to come without a guide, so today we do have a guide who is a local on the island. You can either have a represented tour guide or a local as your guide. But now we're starting our journey into the quarry. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where the legend of Easter Island was born.
We are in the factory of the moais, okay, the quarry of the moais. We have the last count, it was in 2002 visit. Okay, it was 397 moais. But like I told you 2 months ago, Good Morning America, they found one moai. They found every time more moais and one more moais. You see moais that are on the ground, it's because it was in his third step, and the natural raining, erosion cover the hole again, cover the moai. There are moais until the belly button, until his chest, until the neck.
So as you can see now, we're descending the quarry. What I didn't realize before coming up here is the wind is absolutely insane. You can notice it here on the grass. It's absolutely gustling. But this whole operation just seems insane. We were just shown the biggest moai on the island, which is about 22 meters tall, weighing about 200 tons. What accent? Our guide loves the American accent. And off in the distance, we can actually see probably one of the most famous set of moai here, the ahu, which is what it's sitting on, Tangariki, which I think we're going to next. So right now we're approaching the largest ahu in the entire island, Tongariki, which is the famous sunset spot here on the island of Rapa Nui. You can see there are 15 moai, and there's one with a pukao. Now that pukao is the red kind of top part of the moai. Now, on the island there are different interpretations of what that is. Some say that it's a hat or a crown for the highest ranking person, the most sought after, but then others say it's for fertility of the woman moai. So as we're heading away here, we were asking questions regarding the population of this island. Because right around now there's about 7,000 to 8,000 people who live here. But back when it was the clans, it was an undiscovered island, there was roughly 30,000 who lived here. Back in the early 1900s, the population of this island got down to 109 people. Over time, they were able to repopulate the island, which is where it's at now, about 7,000 to 8,000. Crazy, huh? So you've lived here your entire life?
Yeah.
How do you feel about tourists coming to the island? Do you think it takes away from the island? Do you think it helps the island?
Well, first, I think Rapa Nui culture like to show on the culture from Rapa Nui, to show how we used to live and how we live now. We like tourists how it's now. It's not so big invention to the island. People from here, people from the house, they like to welcome to the tourists, to the foreign people, because we feel more like a tourist. They are guests of us.
Were you here during the pandemic?
Yeah.
How difficult was that for the island?
From my perspective, from my life, I'm a tour guide. We live about turismo, but people from here, we are very self-sufficient. So for local people from the island, it wasn't so big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, we do everything, fish, agriculture. So for the island, it was good, but for us, it was good because they cleaned the immigration.
Yeah, it was like a little
So
reset,
we
no?
start reset
Yeah.
the whole island.
And how is life here for the normal person? Is it a difficult life? Is it a happy life?
It's simple life.
Right.
Simple life means that you don't need fancy things to be happy.
Yeah.
You can live the present, just fishing, you having fun, and connecting with the ocean. Or when you're planting, you're connecting with the earth. So living here is connecting with the environment. I work like a tour guide. Like 2 weeks ago, a family told me thank you. And I said, why you thank me? No, because you don't have some places internet, and my sons always are in the phone, and here is the first time that we enjoy it together like a family.
What is one thing or the one thing that you want people to know about this island, if they're never able to make it here, or what they should know before coming here? What do you want people to know about Rapa Nui?
I want to know that here in Rapa Nui, the culture is still alive.
Trying to find the best flight deal, it is incredibly difficult, but that's why I use JustFly. JustFly has been an incredible partner and supporter of this journey around the world. We've worked with them many times and even have given away free flights. You can go on there and search from anywhere in the world that you want to flight. JustFly will give you almost every option to see if you different prices, the cheapest day, the most expensive flight, shortest, longest, whatever you want to do. Use JustFly for your next booking accommodation. Click the link below to save on your next flight and find your next destination.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that officially wraps up our journey on Rapa Nui, one of the world's most remote inhabited islands. I hope watching this video you got an appreciation for island life and this very, very mysterious part of the world. Not many people get to come here, so I feel very privileged that I was able to come here and show this to all of you. I encourage you, if you have the opportunity to come to Rapa Nui one day, that you should come and reach out to those who have you seen in this video, Corey or our tour guide, because they are pretty amazing people. I want to thank all the Patreon, Facebook, and Instagram subscribers for making this journey around the world possible. But guys, I will see you in the next adventure soon as we head to another country here in South America.